Well, the start of the new year didn't bring in the hope of some fresh start. It actually brought in some fresh snowfall for many. But winter weather comes with a lot of risk. A recent press release by the the Insurance Information Institute highlights ways to minimize those risks.
Vice President of Media Relations for the Insurance Information Institute, Loretta Worters, joins us now. Loretta, thank you for your time. We're coming off a heartbreaking weekend where we lost people because they were trying to stay warm. Talk about some of these factors and risks that we really face head on during the winter season.
Yeah, it's a real tragedy here in New York. Loss of lives because of things. These space heaters are a big issue. We see a lot of losses in that. People trying to keep warm, it's an important issue. But you need to make sure to keep your home heated to a minimum of 65 degrees. This is very important from a home perspective. Obviously, this is a little different for a condominium or an apartment building. But you want to make sure you keep your pipes inside the house from freezing. Some certain things like a fireplace, wood stoves, and these electric heaters, make sure they're working properly, make sure there are no combustible items near heat sources. Also, if you have a fireplace, keep the flue closed when it's not in use to prevent heat from escaping up through a chimney. We see so many fires that take place because of these kinds of combustible items and these fireplaces and wood stoves and electric heaters.
Loretta, one of the things my grandmother used to do is she used to love to turn on the oven to about 500 degrees, and she used to like to crack it open just a little bit to keep not only the kitchen but also her apartment warm. But as I became a meteorologist, I learned that that's not the case because that can potentially carry some risks as well. So can you talk a little bit about some of those risks with potentially just leaving the oven open?
Well, yes, certainly that's a big issue. A lot of people do that to try to keep warm in the apartments as well. Carbon monoxide is probably the biggest issue that you have to be concerned of for loss of life. A lot of people don't realize that, they can be pretty much just, fall asleep and die from that. From a property perspective, if you have your oven on and it's high, let's say you have a towel or there's some other item that could catch on fire, and before you know it there could be a huge fire and loss of life. So we tell people not to do that, not to keep those ovens on, or stoves. A lot of people do that with their stoves too, so that's a big issue.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep things safe. Now, Loretta, with home insurance, we get a lot of benefits if something does go wrong. What does renter's insurance provide folks if something happens to their home while trying to stay warm?
Well, you do have coverage under a renter's policy for any of your personal possessions. It's a little different from a homeowner's policy, and obviously if you don't own the apartment, you would have condo insurance for that situation. But for an apartment, it's just your personal possessions. So that means your things like your couch and your audio equipment and your clothes on your back. You also have what's called additional living expense. So if your home is you're no longer able to live in your home, additional living expense will help you to find a place, a hotel, and subsidize things like food and clothing, and helping you to get back on your feet.
All right, Loretta, some great information there. Thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us.
Thank you.